everyone, and welcome to the Culture Cast. I'm Chris Stashew, and I am joined by my good friend. She is the host of the Scary Stories We Tell podcast and the One Season show, Jess Byard.
Hello, Chris. Is your house jumping?
Boy, it might be. It could be. And if Katey Sagal was the mom of my house, it would be.
It would be.
On this episode of the Culture Cast, we are going to be continuing our look at Disney Channel original movies, otherwise known as DCOMs, with the aforementioned Smart House.
Ben Cooper has just won a computerized home for his family.
Wait, what?
Complete with a cyber housekeeper programmed by the clever inventor Sarah Barnes. But when Dad starts dating her, emotions run haywire.
I don't want anyone to get the idea that we need a new mom.
And Ben's not the only one threatened.
You can't be our mother, Pat. You're not real. So?
Now this smart family has to pull together to deprogram a very smart house. It's Disney Channel's original movie, Smart House. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on Disney Channel.
So Smart House is written by William R. Hudson and Stu Krieger. It is directed by LeVar Burton. Yes, that LeVar Burton, because to be fair, how many
Who else is named
are
LeVar Burton?
Yeah, to be fair, whose names are LeVar Burton other than LeVar Burton? So there you go. And by the way, in case you were wondering, listeners, LeVar is his actual name. LeVardis, actually. LeVar is short for LeVardis. He directed this film. Starring in this film, Katey Sagal, Ryan Merriman, Kevin Kilner, Jessica Steen as well, and the film is about a house that is computerized and comes to life, and Katey Sagal plays the house in the last 10 minutes.
She voice acts it the whole time.
Sure, but let me put it this way before we even start talking. If you looked at the poster for the film, it is not true to form, which is fine. It's fine, but
you know what? I don't know why the poster would be putting Katey Sagal front and center, because it's who are you trying to attract to this movie with that poster?
Well, and that's it's
because it's not like Kids in 1990. I mean, yeah, Married with Children had been on, but it hadn't been on for a long time.
Oh,
and she looks completely different.
In 99, wouldn't it have been on for a decade?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Was it still on in 99? I don't think so.
No, it was on from 87 to 97. So this is in that this is in that post Married with Children.
Right. So what do you try? And the thing is Disney Channel original movies were Disney Channel original movies. They weren't movies that were at the movie theaters, so you had to get the dads in with Peg Bundy to
exactly.
Smart House.
So let's talk about the film, Jess. What did you think? I know you and I are the same age. You would have seen this on TV, possibly, like I would have.
Mm-hmm.
We both would have been around 9 or 10 at the time. I think actually, you would have been
I was
10. 9. No, it actually came out in June of 99.
Yeah, yes, I was.
Yeah, you were 9 and I was 9 as well when this came out. So what did you see it when you were 9 years old?
Yeah.
Or is this the first? Okay, so this isn't the first time then.
No. I remember distinctly I would go to my Nana's on the weekends and she had the Disney Channel, and it would just be late night after she gone to bed, and I'd just sit there watching late night Nickelodeon, late night Disney Channel, and a lot of it was just old school television shows and things like that. But I do remember Smart House being one of the movies that I was always really into, because I was always really into kind of depictions of future houses to begin with. I loved they're not Looney Tunes, but they're in the same, the same animated category.
Milieu.
Yeah, the same milieu of that era of animation, where it would be house of the future, car of the future. And it was just it would have all this different stupid, basically just your house is going to be the 50s on steroids, where it's the dishwasher is going to wash every dish in your house and things like that. And I always loved watching those. And so Smart House was, I liked gadgets. I liked all that kind of I do like how when he's entering the contest at the beginning of this movie, his sister calls him Computer Boy, which just in hindsight now, as I sit here holding my, iPad.
Listen here, Computer Boy.
Right. But yeah, this was always one that I liked. I related to it a bit on like some of the more like, personal themes in it. And I also really liked Katey Sagal, always.
So similarly to yourself, I had seen this film when I was 9, and I don't remember it much. I remember Katey Sagal, and that's kind of it. Mm-hmm. And so sitting down to rewatch it, I was feeling similar feelings that I did when I was 9. It was the same things that you said. It's like, oh, it's kind of fun to see this, smart house that obviously we end up really getting very close to that in reality now.
Right.
I'm not going to say what, because I don't want to turn it on in my office, but you know who and you know what, and you can talk to them and get their attention and use them to set a timer, to tell you a recipe or something like that. And so this film isn't too far from the reality we live in now.
Well, and that was always the appeal, too, because I was always into, like, oh, I can't wait for what the future's going to be like when we have all these, like, gadgets. And, yeah, I can't wait for my house to be like... But now it's just, I spent half the time yelling at the AI to do the thing that I asked it to do, and it doing something else.
Well, and to be fair,
we
this
run
film,
into that problem here.
Yeah, I was going to say, the film does a pretty good job of punching that point home over and over and over again. But yeah, it's a film that I wouldn't say it hasn't aged well, because I would say it has aged so well it's become reality in some.
Yeah, I mean it's still very relevant.
Yeah, it is a little funny that
the CG is not aged
well. Sure, it is funny though that there is a piece of media that is so close to this. I would say that it almost copied Smart House. The Treehouse of Horrors episode 12 from The Simpsons features a segment called House of Wax, spelled WHACKS. And it is about a house that is very much like this one. It is an Ultra House 3000. It is a automated house. It mixes 2001 with Demon Seed. But again, it's very similar to this film.
Right.
Instead of Katey Sagal.
Which year did that come out?
2001. So 2 years after this. Which is why I say it's like oddly similar.
Right.
But
it's weird that The Simpsons didn't do it first.
Exactly. But the thing is, in that episode, you have Pierce Brosnan playing the Katey Sagal part. And it obviously has a Simpsons spin to it where, Homer ends up almost dying and the house tries to kill Homer so that it can be with Marge. Again, very similar to this. I mean, again, it's shockingly similar.
Yeah, but you know what? I remembered this movie being like that, where it's like, okay, she gets really obsessed with the family and the dad and then takes over. But she's not obsessed with the dad.
Right.
She'd give a shit about the dad, quite honestly.
Well, it's kind of bizarre. So
she's obsessed with the kid.
Right. Because the kid and her have kind of like imprinted on one another.
Well, he uploaded a bunch of like how to
be a mom.
So basically, I guess for those of you who don't know, standard as to Disney format, Ryan Merriman and his cute sister and his dad, they're all motherless because she died. Because of course.
Because Disney thing.
Right. So he enters a competition to win this like super ultra smart house that has all this stuff and can do everything they need, because as it stands now, he's like, having to take care of his sister, make dinner. His dad's always at work and kind of a major doofus, and quite honestly needs to like really get his shit together.
Kevin Kilner is a lot of fun in this movie, but he plays a dad that doesn't exist in reality.
No.
Up until when he starts like connecting with his children, which I think are some actually very moving scenes for a Disney Channel film.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, it is like he is playing like the dopey dum-dum dad in a way that like these kind of fathers don't really exist. It's a movie thing. And like there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. We're watching a film here, but like sometimes even I'm like, could you just give it just a little bit more realism? And
right,
not
could
like
you try
bumbling
a little?
Dumbass dad.
Right, yeah, like there's we get the impression that like there's a lot of responsibility put on the kid, and that the kid is trying desperately to keep the family as is and doesn't want his dad to date. Which, like I said, as I, could relate to some personal themes in there. I understood, like, not wanting my mom to date and things like that. But, I mean, quite honestly, like, as I'm watching this, I'm like, does this man know how to make a meal? Or does his kid cook everything?
The answer is no. He does not know how to make a meal.
Until the very end of the movie when he makes pancakes, and I'm pretty sure the house still made them.
And then that scene at the end is just woof, woof, said the doggy. Yeah,
so kid wins house, they move in, and of course, Dad starts to fall in love with the house's creator, Sarah something. I just watched it and I fucking forgot what her name.
I'm not sure she has a last name, and if she does, it's not important.
She does, because he says it when he asks the house to call her, and she's like, no. But anyway, it doesn't matter. She's super smart. She makes this house, and then, of course, he's like, hey, you're the first woman I've seen in this movie, so I love you.
Yeah. Fun how that works?
Yep, and as you would suspect, things go right. Oh, the whole reason she goes, like, total 50s housewife is because he uploads all of that, like, basically, like, 1950s TV show moms.
Yeah, like the moms
and, like, all
of the
this
good old
etiquette
days.
Stuff. Yeah, like, all this etiquette stuff to be like, okay, be the world's perfect mom. But then, the second she starts acting like it, he's all like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I'm like, dude, you did this.
I didn't ask for any of this.
Delete all the stuff
but you did. Sorry. There's a lot of fun to be had here with this film.
Yeah.
It does have its cringier moments, but again, I also expect nothing less from Disney.
A Disney Channel.
Yeah, I mean, Xenon has its schmaltz, Halloween Town has its schmaltz, Quince has its schmaltz. They all have their schmaltz. So I have nothing wrong with schmaltz, obviously. But the big issue I have with this film really is the Ryan Merriman character going too far and playing it up too much, because it's obviously, you know this, but when you have a character in a film who is so far in one direction that to get them back in the other direction that they inevitably will go in, it has to be a believable amount to switch back.
Right.
And in the film, at least, I think towards the end, it's not reasonable enough. He's too far of like, I hate every woman. I don't want you to marry anyone. I'm just like,
yeah,
it's not real. Like, it's not realistic. It's kind of like, it feels like an adult trying to write a child, and it kind of is.
Yeah, it does. And I think that a lot of that kind of comes into play too with what I was saying about how, like, Ryan Merriman's character is 13 in the movie. And he is ostensibly responsible for, like, every meal, picking his sister up from her friend's house, taking the dog out. His dad works. I have no idea what he does. I could not figure it out in the movie whatsoever.
He manages accounts.
Okay.
Accounts. I manage them. The accounts don't manage themselves.
Nope. I move them around and they get managed. Like, at one point, it looks like he's holding, like, a menu that's supposed to be a Word document. But I think that it's like, okay, there's too much responsibility being put on this kid, and he's too, like, you're going to tell me that this kid is totally, like, fine with not having friends, not doing anything in school, not doing anything with anybody, just because he's so desperate to just, like, make sure things stay as they are with his dad not dating anyone.
And it's bizarre to me because this poor kid in this film is being shown as the mom figure.
Yeah.
And like, it's a little awkward to be cock blocking your own father. Like, I grew up in a household without step parents, so I cannot understand what that is like. So I'm not going to sit here and try to say, like, oh, that's unrealistic. They would never do that. Because like you just said, Jess, you can relate. The issue is not whether or not it's a beneficial way to write the character. It's just you pushed it too far. And when you push it too far, it becomes caricature-esque. And that's like, and the problem is this is the character that we're following through the entire film. He's the main character. And up until the last, 20 minutes of the movie, he's kind of an insufferable ass.
Yeah, he is. He's just really kind of like, I don't understand he wants to live in the Wonder Years, but also nothing else about his personality says that. Like, honestly, he has no other personality. Like, he doesn't talk to his friends about anything other than the crush he has to have because he's a preteen.
Which goes nowhere.
Which goes nowhere, yeah. Oh, well, it goes to the party scene with, the unrealistic party scene where everybody dances in the living room.
Well, not only are they dancing, they're doing like a dance that doesn't exist at parties.
Right.
like not line dancing, but they're doing that stereotypical thing where they line up.
Doing line dancing.
Yeah, they line up on either side of each other, and the people like dancing down the center. It's like no kids.
A Soul
are
Train
doing this.
is what that's called.
Oh, sorry, I am too white to know what that's called. I just call it white people dancing because that's what it was. But it's regardless of what the name of it is, it's not a thing that you would do at a party.
No.
Not
especially not
at
an 8th grade party.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you would do it at like a homecoming dance or like a Sadie
Right.
Hawkins, but like, and on top of everything else, like this kid is having a massive party at his house, and everyone looks like they're drinking alcohol.
Well, they're just drinking out of like Solo cups.
I know, but like, it looks
yeah, they're all
weird.
drinking Mountain Dew and eating pizza rolls.
Yeah, it looks weird when you have characters who are meant to be children drinking out of Solo cups, and I'm just like,
back in the 90s, it was.
I know, but they're still using Solo cups then. They're using Solo cups now. Like,
True.
I see what you're going for. I see you. It's perfectly fine. But yeah,
right.
Like, you have to write a party scene like a real party scene because these characters are ridiculous.
That scene only exists for the comeuppance of the bully.
Sure.
And where the house
like, straight up killed, I guess.
Well, I almost like the house. So this is where I have some questions about this house that I did not have when I was a kid when I watched this. First of all, where is all this endless supply of food coming from?
Magic, the sky. Maybe they're killing people and turning them into like meat.
Well, what about all
she's using
oranges?
that claw to like pull people off the street to turn them into food.
Just now, see, that would be a cool move. That would be interesting.
I mean, that's pretty much that Simpsons episode. Like the house becomes murderous and tries to kill Homer. Like this movie, obviously, because it's a Disney Channel film, can't go that far. But it's It's one step away.
Oh yeah, she gets to points where it's like, I won't be ignored, Dan. Like,
okay. Yeah. She's not the real woman for you. Too.
She is very Hal-like. They do definitely tap into that 2001 sort of, what we're going for, and the even as to say like lines as I can't do that, But
and you didn't feel this, like,
right?
It's all like it's very 2001.
Right. What do you mean you're not a human? Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, so at one point, Sarah, at the end, when the house has gone crazy and is holding them hostage, she says that the house has enough supplies to keep them hostage for months. Where?
Is there corpses in the basement?
Well, I mean, we've seen the control room, which looks ridiculous and like it is like some fucking super secret military base.
No, it's just inside a random civilian house.
Oh, right. Like she made this whole big ass like ultra smart house, but I can't there has to be some sort of like underground storage facility
for all the stuff, like the hooks and the claws and the food and
yeah. And how is it making things exactly? Maybe there are gnomes. And then it has like, your Gremlins malfunction where it's like, you make me an orange smoothie and it just fucking throws oranges at you.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, again, like you said, these are questions you would not have. No,
because as a kid, you're just like, cool house.
As a 9-year-old.
I will say that as a 9-year-old and as a 30-year-old, I still want the damn technology that turns your wall into a cool like image.
That's the big takeaway. It's not having Katey Sagal as a robot projection walking around your house.
Right. That would freak me out. I just want the wall. But they have it in that. They have it in Prometheus. I'm like, they have it in a ton of other sci-fi stuff. And I'm like, I just want to be able to tap on my wall and it just be like a nice, very realistic beach. It'd be great.
It's still not the beach, though.
Or then I could play like Spice Girls. Full blast on my wall.
It's a little strange to me, the amount of things that they have in this movie that are kind of just shown and never explained.
Well, a lot of it kind of just seems like surface level, like
right,
cool stuff,
things.
Right?
Yeah. like this is a cool thing, right? Like
it's not
isn't it
necessarily
cool?
practical or useful.
Right.
And then also like his, at one point, dad is using, he's working from home, and she's going through all of his accounts and stuff like that, and he's like, my computers at work aren't even this efficient. So I'm like, is this woman is developing like major world changing technology, and they're just giving it away in some house contest that's come live in this experimental house. I don't fucking think so, not in America.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's the issue I've had with a lot of these Disney films, or just a lot of these like films made for a younger audience, is they tend to just like cook up these insane scenarios that make zero sense.
Right. Well, I get, because they don't necessarily have to be.
Sure, I mean, yeah.
But I want some plausibility in mine.
Yeah, and look, I mean, does it ultimately affect my enjoyment of the film? No, it's still a really fun Disney Channel original.
Yeah, and it is probably one of the most still relevant ones.
Yeah, like we've said already, like it ages really well because the future that it is positing, it's so close to the reality that is now.
Right.
That it doesn't even, like, this film doesn't even feel like a stretch. It doesn't feel like a reach.
You know what I don't want, though? I don't want my floor to absorb things I drop.
Well, again, in that Simpsons episode, the floor ends up eating Homer and trying to kill him by sending him into the thing that's in this house, because it has to be like a giant, like, fucking helicopter blade is underneath the house or something.
Right, to just, like, destroy everything?
Yeah, and so in that segment, Homer gets sucked into the house and he comes out of the basement and he's got his, like, the back half of his head is open, his brain's just hanging out. I mean, again, like, what's really bizarre to me is how close these two things are without really reference. I mean, I wouldn't expect The Simpsons to reference. I wouldn't expect The Simpsons to reference it, but it's like it's so close, so on the nose. Like, I'm just like, it can't be that much of a coincidence.
Well, I mean, I guess, like, because a lot of this movie and a lot of, like, this you know, the general idea of AI gone wrong does follow a lot of the 2001 stuff. So maybe that episode of Simpsons is also just following a lot of 2001 stuff. And because it's clearly an inspiration for what was going on in this movie, LeVar.
Yeah.
Although he didn't write it, but...
No, he didn't. But I will say he did a really good job directing.
Yeah. I mean, this feels like a movie. Like, you know, some of the... I'm sure that you've come across this watching other Disney Channel original movies. But there are some that feel like actual movies, and there are some that feel like TV movies, where everything seems just a little cheaper, everybody's a little flatter, like it's, you know, in their performance. And I think that this one feels more like, you know, kind of on that Halloween Town level of, like, feeling like a movie.
Yeah, it is one of the better Disney Channel movies just based on the production value alone.
So this is probably, like, towards the end of my time of actually watching Disney Channel original movies. And, you know, I remember a lot of this stuff that, honestly, it just kind of came back to me when I was watching it. The House is Jumping song, I totally forgot was a thing, but I was like, I still know all these words.
Wow. Even I didn't remember that much.
But, like, Ryan Merriman was also, like, you know, a big, you know, face in Disney Channel movies. So this, I think, was probably towards the last ones that I watched, which is probably why it sticks out so much for me. Because I think you covered a couple this month that I actually have never heard of, and I think they'd come out, like, pretty much post 2001. I think is when I checked out of Disney.
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I would put this in the group of Halloween Town, Xenon, this movie. Mm-hmm. Like, because the...
Luck of the Irish.
Wish you could see my face right now. Because my face right now is not as positive as it might sound by the way I'm talking. Well, to be fair, Ryan Merriman is also in Luck of the Irish.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing a leprechaun child?
A man who... No, I thought it was the same, like, plot of Leprechaun, where it's like he ends up with a fucking gold piece and...
No, I think Luck of the Irish is on his 13th birthday. He turns into a leprechaun.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Like a full-size
no.
leprechaun?
You're right.
It's like the same plot of Leprechaun.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the film where the kid turns into a fish.
What?
Oh, you don't know about that one? See,
No.
The one I was referencing was a different one than you were referencing, but I'm referencing something that's just as fucking insane. I forget what the name of it is, but it's like hold on a second. Oh, okay, yeah, there it is. I'm talking about The 13th Year, a film where when a character turns 13, he turns into a murderer.
Oh, I remember that now. That's right. But yeah, Luck of the Irish is like does he play like basketball or something?
Yes.
I feel like,
The cover is him playing basketball.
Yeah, he's like this basketball player and he finds this gold piece and of course it makes him better at, everything. But then, as it were, bad luck befalls him.
He turns into a leprechaun.
Yeah, he turns back.
It's it is I think an issue. I mean, I don't like Ryan Merriman very much, and I don't either. I'm not
like he was a staple in a lot of the movies, but he was just kind of like they were trying really hard with him, and it just never went anywhere.
Yeah, my issue with him is a matter of he doesn't feel natural in the role that he's playing. Because, again, he feels like an adult playing a child because, unfortunately, he's written that way. But I've seen, like you just said, I've seen Ryan Merriman in other things. Halloween Resurrection and The Ring and Final Destination 3. The worst of the Final Destinations.
I would disagree with that.
Isn't that the one where they all die at the end?
The third one? No, the third one's the roller coaster one.
Yeah, but they all die at the end of that one because they get trapped in a train car at the end. Do you remember that?
Well, yeah, they all die at the end of all of them, though.
That's fair.
Or at the beginning of the next one.
They also
No, the worst one is the NASCAR one. That's the Final Destination.
That's what, the 3D one? One of the 3D ones?
One of the 3D ones, I think, yeah.
Side note, Final Destination, though, kind of a fan.
Yeah,
actually, pretty
absolutely.
Big fan.
I like the first 3, quite honestly. They're fun. They're just fun.
and 5, I actually love the shit out of 5.
Is that the one where it brings everything back to the...
Yeah, and it's got Miles Fisher in it, a.k.a. fake Christian Bale. A.k.a. the guy who did the best cover of Home by Talking Heads that I've ever heard. So good that his singing is almost as good as his acting. Actually, one might even say better. But, yeah, it's this thing about Ryan Merriman, and I don't know what it is, but there's just something about his acting style that I just don't...
He always seems really strained.
Right. Like he's trying way too hard.
Like he's on the cusp of just like having, like he's on the cusp of just being like, just like totally frustrated.
Yeah, and his character in this film is off-putting. It's meant to be off-putting, obviously.
I don't want my dad to be involved with other women. I need him near me.
Yeah, and it's like, that is a little strange.
I mean, look, I didn't, there were plenty of times in my life where I was like, man, if my mom was like, can you just be like single and just be with me? But also, that's... It's just kind of life, like...
Also, would you cock block your mom like this kid did?
Well, no, and also, like, they're still rich, so...
Well, now they have a house that they can live in that's a smart house.
Yeah, also, what's,
free of
did
charge.
You just win the house? Yeah, I was gonna say, I'd be so mad at my kid if they signed me up for this contest to win some, like, fucking really expensive house, and we win, and now I have this really expensive house.
Well, but you also have Smart Woman, Jessica Steen playing Sarah Barnes, who made the house. So Smart Woman is making money too.
Smart Woman ends up being his wife because this man has proved time and time again that he needs a woman in his life to maintain things.
Even if it's a robot woman.
Yes, because as he said at the beginning, he can't do his daughter's hair because he's a guy and he does not have a hairdo brain.
Great. That's awesome.
Which... It's funny that he says that because he's actually got some pretty nice hair in him.
I love Kevin Kilner. I mean, he's a lot of fun as an actor. He's really good in an episode of Tales from the Crypt where he plays like a snake oil salesman.
Oh yeah, I remember
where I guess
that
like
one.
insurance, and he's like murders the guy he's trying to sell insurance to.
I think so. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun in this movie. he's really good. He's a really sympathetic dad. But we really haven't talked about Katey Sagal yet. And I feel like we need to. Because, like I mentioned at the top of the podcast, why wasn't she in this more?
Because they probably could afford her for a day.
That is what it feels like, because she's amazing in this, and she is, because she's so good, her absence is felt even more.
Right, like I feel like as a kid, I even feel like I remember her being in it more than she is.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, just look where she is on the poster.
Yeah,
front and center.
Right. Well, like I said, that's to get all the dads who love Peg Bundy.
Look, I think we both will agree Katey Sagal is gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
She's a fantastic actress. Married with Children's
still
awesome.
is.
Yeah, Futurama is amazing. Never seen Sons of Anarchy, but I know she's good in Sons of Anarchy.
So this would have been... So Married with Children ended in, like, 97. And Futurama started in...
like 2000 and maybe say... Well,
One, two.
No, Futurama. Oh, we're way off.
It's been on since the 90s, right?
Futurama started. Futurama started before this movie came out.
Okay, so she was doing the future. So she's doing The Boys before this. Okay, interesting. So it's not that she needed money, because she was getting that Futurama money and that Married with Children syndication money.
I was about to say that Married with Children syndication money is where it's at.
Yeah.
Also, did you realize that Katey Sagal replaced fucking Roseanne in the Connors show?
Oh, she did?
As the lead love interest for John Goodman.
Oh, wow.
I am like half tempted to watch it now.
Up. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, like I'm half tempted to watch it because first off, Roseanne Barr's a piece of shit. So there is that.
And I did love Roseanne as a kid.
So did my lovely wife. And
it appeals to my blue collar blood.
And I mean, look, Roseanne was popular because it was fucking funny.
Oh yeah, and I mean, back in the day, she was still a nut bar. She was just not a Trump nut bar.
Well, also in the 90s, it seemed to be you could get away with being a nut bar a lot easier.
Well, yeah, and she was just that, like, oh, that's just Roseanne doing crazy things.
You remember when she sang the national anthem?
Yes.
Do you remember when her character died from opioids on Roseanne?
That's what they killed her with? That's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Fuck yeah, dude. Goodbye. You can't come back from that one.
Nope.
Yeah, no, Roseanne.
Can't rewrite your lottery book now.
Yeah, Roseanne straight up just dies from opioids, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, internet. But, well, look, you know what? You wrote yourself off of a show that was name-bearing.
Easy money. Oh
also, it bared your name, you fucking moron. Like,
still does. Oh, no, it doesn't. It's just called
No,
Connors.
It's the Connors now.
Right.
To be fair, was it called Roseanne to begin with? Yeah, it was called Roseanne, and then they were like, the Connors.
Well, she's not on it anymore, so...
No. I don't know what Roseanne's up to, but hopefully someone took her phone away.
She's still just being crazy on Twitter. I think what this movie did is that this movie needed some... I guarantee you the producers were like, okay, we need like a little bit of star power behind this. And they probably thought, all right, well, let's take Peg Bundy, who's, the complete opposite of the type of mother that we're trying, that this house is trying to emulate, and put her in this role. And it works. It's just, it's unfortunate that we only get her. And I am sure that it's probably because they could only afford her for like a day or two max.
I mean, look, they got her voice. She was clearly doing, she was clearly working in the studio, doing lines.
Well, yeah, she was probably like recording Futurama and then we're just like, yeah, okay, and say a few of these lines too.
But she's really good. Even when it's just her voice, she has that maternal edge without going overboard until that's what the character is being called for, is to go over. But the thing that just is kind of weird to me is the way the film reaches its resolution. So at the end of the film, you have the, obvious blow up of the character Pat, played by Katey Sagal, otherwise known as personal applied technology. She goes crazy, or she becomes jealous of the children, or I guess it's a careful what you wish.
No, she becomes jealous of like Sarah.
Well, yeah, I mean the kid wants Ryan Merriman wants a mom, and he ends up getting one in
he
the
doesn't
Sarah
want a mom,
character.
though.
Right. Well, he wants
He wants
Right. Well, he
wants his sister and his dad to be happy enough with this mom type figure so his dad doesn't go out and bring a real woman back into the house.
So he wants a mom, but he doesn't.
So he doesn't even want a mom. No, he wants a maid.
Sure. A bang maid.
Yes.
You can be
well,
my
we all
bang
want a
maid.
bang maid.
But at the end, you have Katey Sagal essentially realizing that she cannot be the person to protect the children.
What? This is kind of sad.
It is
because
sad.
He is the one, Ryan Merriman's character is the one that uploads all of this information into her highly adaptable mainframe, learns all this stuff about being a mom and caring and blah, 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 and all this stuff, all to just do exactly what he wants. And then him to be like, hey, you see what my mom and this woman I hated 5 minutes ago did? They touched me. Can you do that? No.
And that's
you then.
And that's where I'm coming from with the criticism of the way this character is written. He goes too far in one direction.
Yeah.
For his character not to be redeemable, but I would go as far as to say to be redeemable, because like you said, he perverts this character's artificial intelligence to his own needs.
And then when it does exactly what he wants, he gets upset with it and destroys it. It's like the Giving Tree.
You know what they say about being careful for what thine wishes for?
Right.
You might get it, friends.
Right.
Be careful what you wish for. And at the end of the film, Pat essentially realizes, well, I can't protect them the way that I want because I can't even touch them. So I unlock all the windows and doors and let them go. But...
And then she just lives... because it's not like they get rid of her.
That's the problem. No, she's still there. That makes no sense.
She's still there and completely as much as powerful as she was before. She's just decided to not destroy these people. But
Which,
I guarantee
if you're living in that
there's...
house, you could not, are you going to tell me in the middle of the night she didn't just straight up fucking murder her? Murder Sarah? What? I would never step foot in that house again.
No. I'd be like, this thing tried to kill this. Absolutely not. Not to mention all the food that's been absorbed into the floors. It smells terrible.
I like how that's the thing you're getting.
It really bothers me. It's because she explains it. He said, where does it go? And she says, it absorbs into the floorboards. And then I said, and then what?
Well, then...
Because otherwise, you just have moldy mashed potatoes in your floorboards.
Well, underneath the floorboards, you hear thunk, 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 thunk. Thunk, thunk.
Right.
The telltale heart. That's what it is, but it's the telltale mashed potatoes. They're rotting under the floorboard.
I lie awake at night listening to my dinner scream at me from the floor.
It is weird. It doesn't work. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then you have this cheeseball ending where it's wink. And it's
right.
This character just tried to kill you.
Well, this character, Ryan Merriman's character, went from not wanting any moms at all and wanting to have his dad and his, all to himself forever, to having two moms and a dad.
Careful what you wish for.
But he's perfectly happy with it.
Oh, you rascals putting those chocolate chips in the batter. She just tried to kill you guys, not but 5 minutes ago.
She could, just turn on all the gas in the house and kill you all immediately.
Yeah.
Just shut all the ventilation off.
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense. It's
and we also have to reckon with the fact that means that she not only created this super, crazy advanced house, but she also created this crazy advanced, very adaptable AI that just keeps learning and becoming more human. And she just has it in this. What is her job? She just has it in this one house, and they live with it. Is she an architect? Does she work for the Pentagon? What is she doing?
Why is she working on something so important?
And why did they have to make sure that they had the announcement in the morning paper in 1999?
But yet the question that is begged to be answered once again is, with all of this technology in this house, all it's doing is cleaning up after people. That's
right.
Well,
that's pretty true to form, right?
Yeah, it pretty much is.
What have we created AI devices for us?
Set timers and ask stupid questions.
Uh-huh.
What's the definition of this word? How do you spell this? Let's play Jeopardy. Okay,
right.
Thanks.
Turn on this music that I could just turn on myself.
Fucking kill me now.
Have a Roomba that's just to clean your house. Like, I mean, like it's all about creating things for convenience. That's the idea of smart living, but work smart, live smarter, not harder. But
yeah.
Also, I'm not living in the house with the super, super, super smart advanced AI that was trying to murder me. Or at the very least, keep me hostage.
Yeah, and that's the thing about these kinds of films, right? Or these kinds of stories is it makes you question, you being the audience, how you would react in this situation. And there is no way, shape, or form I would be staying in that house after it tried to kill me. Regardless of whether or not it's like, I'm not going to ever try to hurt you again. It's like,
sure.
Oh, yeah?
Well, and that's the thing, like, because we didn't mention the fact that they do, like, shut the house down at one point. But then Pat can overwrite it, which why would you create that mechanism?
That's what to say. That's
made it, so that's
the
thing you did, right?
That's the stupidest fucking thing about this movie is how dangerous this AI is. Because it turned itself back on.
Right. It's override a system shutdown, and that means you made it possible for it to do that. So why would you do that?
Yeah. What?
Honestly, I think the most unrealistic thing about this movie compared to now is that they would not have all of the food stocked. They would just completely have it all delivered.
That's fair.
I think she would just have a constant, just like flow of food coming in and things like that. Which would, if this were made now and the logic needed to be, fixed a bit as opposed to saying, oh, the house has supplies for months. It would make more sense if the house could just like tap into the computers and just keep ordering stuff.
Right. So
eventually it would run out of money.
It does all the work for you.
Right.
Yeah,
so
but
would you live in a smart house?
Would I live in a smart house?
Yes.
No. Hell
like one
no.
that could one that can make you food and
no, because I don't trust it. Like it's just a general distrust.
Like my AIs in a small cylindrical fashion with no arms.
Yeah, I like my AI so far away that if I wanted to, I could take it, throw it out the window, and it's outside, not in here.
And also plugged in and not totally wireless.
Exactly. Like, and also it's battery powered, which means it can eventually die without power.
Well, that's what what's that electric power bill like? On a fucking on that smart house with all the hands and things like coming out of it all the time. And
yeah, if you think too hard about the premise of this film, it falls apart really quickly, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like there's none of this house would work.
No, because it would be way too expensive to maintain. It would be way too expensive to keep going. And ultimately, it would be too expensive for a human being to own because that house, as far as I'm concerned, must be worth like couple $1 million?
Oh, I would
the technology
say so.
alone?
I would say probably more than that.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know
like
how much this house would be worth. But
like if you're just saying, hey, Pat, I want some gourmet sweets, and it's making you like this fucking tower of different cakes and treats and things that you get like at a restaurant. That's like I would think it's like at least a $50 million house.
Well, again, I don't even know what that technology looks like, right? Because that technology in and of itself is insanely expensive.
Oh, God, yeah. And to have to, like, make... Well, also, we've mentioned the grabby hand hooks that, like, fly out of the house. They don't come out in, like, like a rigid fashion, where it's, like, straight out, grab the thing, straight back in. They kind of, like, fly out like they're tentacles.
Yeah, they're Doc Ock arms. Like,
Doc Ock. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much Doc Ock. Like, I Dr. Octopus. I'm not saying Doc Cock, I swear.
I know.
I know you know. But it is Doc Ock-esque. Like, it is the same thing. And they're like clawed hands, too.
Yeah, it's like Go-Go Gadget, like...
Yeah.
Clamp hands.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a weird choice because, again, that doesn't, to me, scream safe house that I want to live in. No. That screams if I get in the way of the arm, it might punch a hole through me by accident.
This would actually be a good pairing with Chopping Mall.
This specific movie, Smart House?
Yeah, yes. Like if you needed to do a drive-in where you show the early movie for the kids and the late movie for the adults, it would be Smart House and Chopping Mall. Because that's basically kind of like like any of these AI where we're trapped in an area and it's supposed to do what I say, but now it's not listening to me. But the characters of Sarah and her colleague Miles, I guess is his name. I don't know. He's just kind of this schlubby guy that like is cracking jokes around her the whole time while she's fixing the house up. But there's two characters in Chopping Mall that remind me very much of those two people. But yeah, they've both got like that like that's what I was thinking. I was just thinking about like the clampy hands on the little Chopping Mall robots.
I really implore you to watch this bit from The Simpsons because I think you're going to laugh your ass off. Because it would be, again, perfect with a
Which
double
treehouse
feature.
is it?
It's the 12th one. So it's from like 2 years removed from this. And it's just like, it feels like someone saw this and said, how can we make this a little bit farther into 2001? Because in that segment, they even have like a little Hal on the wall.
Right.
So it kind of turns more into it than this does. I think my biggest gripe with the movie is I wish that, I mean, again, yeah, wish there had been more of Katey Sagal on screen because she has a really commanding presence, but I wish that her going full nut house had been more than just the last
10 minutes. Yeah.
There is no like fight or anything. There's no like there's no problems. Yeah, and there's no stakes until the end.
Honestly, though, that's something that I've seen a lot in like Disney movies and kids movies in general, where it's like the conflict lasts all of like 5 minutes, and it's like, oh, it's fine. Yeah, I mean, as adults picking apart Smart House. But I mean, I would agree because I would want to see more like of the fact, you could have a couple more good like bonding moments with him and, with Ryan Merriman and the dad. You could have a couple bonding moments with Ryan Merriman and Sarah, where they're like in the house and they're trying to like, keep her out and stuff like that. And you go on for like another 10 minutes or so, 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, that's unfortunately not what we get.
Yeah. Yeah. That's my biggest just kind of feelings on the film is just it feels like a missed opportunity when you have Katey Sagal. And I know, again, I would agree that there's probably a financial reason she wasn't in it very much. But yeah. To me, I just sit here and I go, I wish I had the best part of this movie more, because of course, she's the best part of the movie. Of course, I want more of her.
And that's the part I remember the most about the movie. Like, I remember her in the house as weird stuff.
Well, again, she's striking to look at. I mean, just the design of the characters' clothes is so evocative of those characters from that time period.
Oh, yeah, super
that character threw together. I mean, it's right on the nose in the best way possible.
Right.
But why didn't we get more of it? That's the question.
Smart House 2. Apartment house.
Smart House 2. Please don't murder me again.
Right. Smart House 2. We've been locked in this house for the last 30 days.
Yeah. Smart House 2. We're eating one another. It's just a little disappointing. But yeah. Ultimately, I think it's pretty good. And again, I stand by what I said regarding this being in, I would say, the kind of pantheon of the Disney Channel original movies that I remember. I mean, essentially anything pre-2000 or 2000 and earlier is kind of the golden years of these Disney Channel original movies. Halloween Town was 98. Xenon was 99. Smart House was 99. Johnny Tsunami. Can of Worms. The 13th Year. These are all the ones that whenever I think of these Disney Channel original movies, I think of these movies, not, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire or, which I have seen, or like Get a Clue. I do think of Get a Clue, but for different reasons. Primarily because of that stupid fucking song. I've heard that if you get a clue, there's nothing you can do. Yeah, see, and now it's going to be stuck in your head now, too. But I don't think of those movies. I think of Halloween Town, Smart House, and Xenon.
Right.
And I think there's a reason for that because the design is so unique. The design
Well, I mean, they're the more high concept, like, stories, too.
They're genre films, really.
Yeah, they are. And I think that that's also, something that appealed to me as a kid, why this movie appealed to me, because, as a kid, seeing, Katey Sagal go kind of crazy, I do remember it being very like, oh my God, what's she going to do? And I think I hadn't seen 2001 at that point, obviously, but I think enough of it was like ingrained in culture and that I kind of like understood. And like, I also was into sci-fi. So, you know, Futuristic House, they are kind of like little usherings into different genre.
Right. Where does this stack up for you among the other Disney Channel original movies that you've seen?
Like where on, like if I had to like tap them out?
Yeah, well, not all of them, but I mean, is this up at the top? Is this the top?
Oh, yeah. It's not the top, but I would say that it is pretty close.
Is the top Halloween Town?
It sure is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Halloween, I mean, there's just something about Halloween Town.
Yeah, it's great. Set designs. We folks, if you want to listen to us talk about Halloween Town, you can listen to us for 3 hours on that episode we did.
Yeah, what, 2 years ago now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we talked, as they like to use the term, we talked ad nauseum about Halloween Town, both 1 and 2. But I'm with you. I would put this right at the top, though. I mean, it is that good. Like it is that good of a movie. And again, it does hit the feels in a way that some of the other, I mean, Halloween Town doesn't hit the feels the way this one does. It just doesn't.
It doesn't, no, like, but it's a different type of, like, that's more about, like, you know, the mother-daughter, grandmother relationship
right.
versus the father-son, you know, and also dealing with a loss.
But the dad isn't there in Halloween Town either.
Yeah, but I get the impression that they were divorced and that he's not dead.
Oh, no. In Halloween Town, he died because, remember, that's the whole, like, thing about
Oh, that's
mom.
right.
The mom is like, you don't want to spend your life in Halloween Town because your dad was a human. He's used as, like, the Deus Ex Machina in the plot line.
Right, that's right.
Yeah. It's, to be fair, I mean, in this movie, she's used for similar, like, the character's used for similar fashion.
Yeah, for sure. Where it's like, hey, just watch this sad video of my mom singing to me.
It's not to the point with these Disney Channel original movies yet where they're operating like Teen Beach Movie was, where it's an hour and 50 minutes. It's an hour and 20 minutes.
Right.
So it's eating up this is eating up, the hour and 30 minute spot, and they still have 30 minutes for other programming, as opposed to a 2-hour block. So
right.
But I like this movie. I think it still holds up. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think that it, again, I'm not sure it would be as much fun if it hadn't aged as well, but the fact that we are essentially living in the Smart House times makes it a little bit more important, I think, than maybe Halloween Town or Xenon, just on a relatability in 2021.
Right. Oh yeah,
even though I would love to live in Halloween Town, but
well,
who wouldn't? So what would you give the film out of 5?
I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Again, it's in the top 3.
4 smart houses. And 5 smart houses.
4 giant Katey Sagals screaming.
Yes. Oh well, you wanted more, but we didn't mention the scene where there were like I think 20 of her in one scene.
That's fair, and they're all saying the same thing, but just slightly back from one another.
Right.
And it's like
slightly around.
Oh Jesus! It's like the worst version of "Ring Around the Rosie" singing I've ever heard. Jesus Christ! But yeah, I think it's a good entry into Disney Channel original movies because again, they start to, like you mentioned, Jess, we started to outgrow them, and this was probably, like you said, for me, this is probably right at the cusp, if not the last one I remember seeing.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because I don't remember Quince or Smart House or a film that somehow didn't make the list, but I have to point it out to you, Jess, because of the tagline. The tagline is, "Look beyond black and white, and you'll find the color of friendship."
Oh, I remember that one.
Yikes.
That one's not good.
What gave it away?
We're going to say that one
tagline like, "Look beyond
well.
black and white, and you'll find the color of friendship"?
Yeah.
That's
the We Don't See Race movie.
Yeah. It's about, I guess, a South African white girl and a African American girl becoming friends.
Yes.
I'm good.
Yes.
Supposedly it's pretty good.
I don't remember much of it. I just remember that idea, and I just right now it doesn't seem like it would have aged well.
No, I would agree with you. But then again, a lot of these Disney Channel movies are just weird, vestiges of a bygone era, because the new Disney Channel movies that they're putting out now are all either intellectual properties or based off of intellectual properties, like tangentially, like Descendants, which is all the characters' children, like the villains' characters, their children. So
From what?
like say Hades, right? Like Hades has a kid, and it's like Maleficent has a kid, and Cruella de Vil has a daughter, and the Evil Queen has a daughter, and Jafar has a son. Like, that's kind of fun, but it's not an original idea like this.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's just not an original idea. So
Yeah, Disney original doesn't really mean original anymore.
no, it doesn't, and that's unfortunate. But again, at the same time, you can't get back to Smart House and Halloween Town. They just hold a special place in people's hearts because they have that genre charm that so many of these new ones don't, unfortunately.
Yep.
On that note, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the next Culture Cast of Disney Channel January.
For anyone with a future on the stage, there's only one place to spend the summer.
You're going to Camp Rock.
And to get in, they've got to bring the moves,
Put your hands up!
the sound,
Wow, she's amazing.
and the look.
Which color? They're exactly the same. So you see my dilemma.
But it's best to leave behind
Pop star phenom Shane Gray needs to clean up his act.
the attitude,
I don't want to waste my summer at some camp. Hey, man, we used to love this place. Hey!
Both got classes to teach. Yours starts in 5.
in a place where your friends are your competition.
This is not amateur night.
There's a difference between standing out
How long did you think you could keep your little secret?
and standing alone.
I have no choice. I've got to ban you from the rest of camp activities.
It's just for once, I just wanted to fit in and be popular. Just once. Do you know what it's like to feel so in the dark?
I heard this girl singing, and it kind of reminded me of the music that I liked. Hello? Who's in here?
From Disney Channel comes a story about finding your sound and raising your voice.
That's the song.
Starring Joe, Kevin, and Nick Jonas.
Group hug. Much better.
And introducing Demi Lovato with Megan Jett Martin and Allison Stoner. It's Disney Channel's most rockin' original movie yet. Camp Rock. Premieres Friday, June 20th at 8, 7 Central.
That's right, in the next Culture Cast, we're going to be taking a look at Camp Rock, a film featuring Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers that I have never seen because, as I'm sure Jess can relate, I was way too old.
Yeah, I was going to say this is clearly past 1999.
Yeah, this is more like 2006, I think.
Oh, yeah, I was 16.
So,
well into high school.
Excuse me, way even farther than that. This would have been the year that we graduated high school, 2008.
Then yes, absolutely not.
Way too far past where we would be. But hey, I'm open to it. I'm looking forward to it. It could be good. It's once again produced by Alan Sachs, who is a friend of the podcast. Just keeping it at that. So yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. Could be good. Could be bad. Frankly, at this point, I've seen only good movies this month, and everyone was complaining we were watching Disney Channel original movies. So
I was on.
Well, I know you weren't.
I was on Smart House immediately.
Yeah, you weren't, but also, Jess, you grew up the same age same time that I did. So this
True.
isn't even outside of our wheelhouse.
Very true.
So when you're not here, Jess, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at writer Jess Byard. Pretty much everything I do goes there. I have a website under the name of writerjessbyard.com. If you want to hear Chris and I together, you can hear us chit-chat about spooky things on Scary Stories We Tell. And you can hear us talk about television that lasted one season on the One Season Show.
And as for me, you can find me on Twitter at Christmas Claus. And that's it. Go there, find me if you want. If not, hey, you can listen to me here. Patreon.com/CultureCast, where you can kick a couple dollars our way. CultureCast.com is where you can find the RSS feed for the episodes of the show. We're over 400 at this point. Yeah, boy. Yeah, what? I have no idea. Still, frankly, I'm still trying to figure out how I landed a podcast gig. Oh, we created one. That's what it was. No one would actually give me this job. I had to create it myself. But yeah, so that's where you can find the rest of the episodes. And like Jess said, we work on a lot of other stuff together, so you can check out those podcasts as well. And we'll catch you on the next episode.